Welcome to TYT Sports, everybody. Power panel, Jason Rubin on the end, David DiStefano. Thomas Jones, University of Virginia, 5 NFL teams, played in the Super Bowl. Not a big deal. I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Adrian Peterson, has likely back next year, playing in the 2015 season. Will it be for the Vikings? Will it be for someone else? Will it be for the Dallas Cowboys? And should he be back?
I mean, if I was in Adrian Peterson's situation, it's a tough situation altogether. You know, the guy was doing something that he felt was the right thing to do based on how he was raised, right. And obviously, you know, that's going to be, you know, good or bad in different people's minds. But you know, he was suspended. You know, the Vikings had to do what they had to do. It's a business. The NFL is a business. You know, there is no loyalty in the NFL. The loyalty is to winning. That's what it's about. The loyalty is to making money off of your investment, which is the players. So if I was Adrian Peterson, you know, I would probably want a fresh start. I would probably want to go somewhere where I could kind of put this behind me and move forward with my career. He's a great player, one of the greatest running backs I've ever seen. He is. And you know, still has a lot of life left in the NFL. And you know, I know it's hard because he's given a whole lot to the Minnesota Vikings and the Minnesota Vikings fans. They love him there, but more than likely, if I was him, I would probably want to first start somewhere just so I could get over. He's
going to be 30 years old in September of 2015, which is the generally accepted demarcation of when running backs become less productive. Some of them, as you know, incredibly quickly. Some of them, it's a slower decline.
Well, what are you basing it off of?
I'm basing it on, you know, seeing the last, I don't know, 25 years of guys who are carrying the ball 250 to 350 times a year. When they get to 30, most teams are willing to let backs go. So my question then would be, would you, if you're, say, Dallas, where we know Peterson might like to play, we know Jerry Jones has expressed an interest in him, is Adrian Peterson worth a number 1 pick? Is he worth a number 1 and a number 3 at age 30? Although he did miss.
Well, you're saying they're willing to let backs go, but that's not necessarily saying that they can't get the job done.
No,
those are two totally different things, because I ended up going to the Pro Bowl at 30. I had my best years at 31. So, you know, that being said, Adrian Peterson, I think, has a lot of life left in the NFL. You know, he missed a lot of last season, which helps. Yeah. The guy takes care of his body, which is a huge part of being a running back and being durable. He stays in the weight room. He stays in the training room. You know, obviously he's one of the most jacked up guys in the league. But I think that, you know, from his leadership perspective, his experience perspective, yeah, he's worth the money for sure. His resume speaks for itself.
Yeah, he is currently the highest paid running back in the NFL. And as you mentioned before, Thomas, that it's a business and you want to see that return on investment. And from the Vikings standpoint, you know, he had a full year off, which I know you mentioned, Ben, that at 30 years old there could be a drop-off, but not playing for a full season and staying in physically peak shape like it seems like he has, I don't see why he wouldn't return or why the Vikings wouldn't want him back.
So I sensed from you, and I like it because it was honest, like a little resistance when I said guys get to 30, NFL teams think, well, maybe this is not the most productive years don't tend to happen after 30. Mm-hmm. You had your best year, but you know that's a bit of an exception. And so wherever Peterson signs a new deal, it's going to be for a lot of money. And maybe there's 1 year good, maybe there's 2, maybe there's terrific, but how many running backs can you name? Let me put it back on you that, like, you know, guy at 32, 33, you know, it's not, you know, you mentioned.
Well, now you're saying 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. I mean, you're going
40,
up like.
Thomas, how many 44-year-old running backs are there in the NFL?
I mean, the thing about it is, you know, I'm a stats guy. I'm a statistical guy. And sometimes people, I didn't have any resistance. It's just sometimes people make comments, and if the statistics don't back up those comments, then people take those comments that they hear, and then it's just a stigma about, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be 30-year-old running backs. It could be anything. You know, so I'm a statistics guy. You know, I want to look at the stats, and then from the statistics, then I can say, okay, well, you know, the numbers say this, as opposed to just an opinion.
All right. Well, the numbers say that when you get over 30, your numbers go down. They do say that. It doesn't mean that somebody couldn't gain 1,800 yards at 30. But of course, the money that you would guarantee to a guy, you're probably going to want more than just year 30. That's why I mentioned 32, 33. So anyway, it just puts guys like Peterson in a tough, it puts all football players, all running backs, all guys whose legs drive what they do in a tough
Well, the
position?
only people that really can last at any position, for the most part, are quarterbacks and skill guys. Offensive linemen can play a long time because the collisions aren't the same.
Right.
But yeah, I mean any position, the NFL stands for not for long. I mean, the numbers, the average NFL lifespan is not that long for any player.
Yeah, I think it's less than 4 years.
Yeah, for any player across the board. So obviously running backs, we have a tough job. We have head-on collisions constantly every game. We're constantly taking a beating, and I think that's why a lot of teams are going with 2 or 3 back systems. They're using the running backs out of the backfield more, spreading the ball around. It makes it tougher on defenses. It puts a lot of pressure on defenses when they have to put a safety or a linebacker against the running back. I mean, this causes matchup problems. So I think there's a lot of factors that go there. Adrian Peterson is the type of back that he's very durable. Just his presence alone is worth some of the money he's getting paid. And I think a lot of people look at the yards and they look at the statistics, which obviously is about your production. But his presence alone on that scouting report every week, every Wednesday when defenses have to see Adrian Peterson, they're sitting up in their chair. And that's worth a lot more than I think people understand.
Well, just the couple of yards that a safety moves up when you play the Vikings.
Not only the yards he moves up, but the fact that they have to tackle him, the fact that they have to chase him down, the fact that this guy puts fear in people's hearts as a running back. Some of the things I've seen him do are amazing, and trust me, when Ray Lewis is on our scouting report, or when Rashawn Taylor or one of those guys is on your scouting report, you know where that guy is.
Thomas, last question, 10 seconds on Adrian Peterson. Where do you think he plays next year?
I think Adrian Peterson plays in Minnesota.
David?
I'm hoping the Cardinals.
Hoping the Cardinals? Inconceivable. Jason?
I think he's back on the Vikings.
Back on the Vikings?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go with Dallas. I'll take Dallas, and I'll win this bet. Thanks for watching the TYT Sports. Be sure to subscribe on the link down below. Thanks.